It has become increasingly harder to find clothes that fit me in a thrift store. Just being perfectly honest. Today's video is one that's been a long time coming. It's something that's been heavy on my heart for a long time and something that I've been wanting to talk about. I've just been trying to find the right words, I guess, to put together. I was inspired by an Instagram story, which I will talk about later in this video, that I saw by Body Posi Panda or Megan Crab. She's amazing. She always finds the words that I seem to be looking for when it comes to body positivity and body confidence. Her Instagram will of course be linked down below and I will go into detail as the video goes on. But something that's been really kind of getting under my skin lately is the conversation around sustainable fashion, thrifting in particular, which is something that I do very often on my channel, but finding clothes in my size in the thrift store has become an increasingly difficult experience. And not just in the thrift store, but in vintage stores, online, on sites like ThredUp and Poshmark and Depop. I've been thrifting for about 2 years now regularly. I mean, thrifting was something that wasn't really cool when I was growing up, but over the last couple of years, it's something that I've really fallen in love with. Like, I genuinely love the hunt of thrifting. It's something that I enjoy so much, and it's something that's brought me a lot of really amazing friends in my little community on YouTube, and it's been incredible. However, there aren't really many plus size thrifters on YouTube, which is something that I am now noticing more than ever. Thin privilege is something that I have experienced my entire life. Even though I've always been kind of a mid-sized body, it hasn't been until recently when I've become more of like a size 14, sometimes 16, that I have realized how difficult it is to find clothes that fit you in a store on any given day. And especially a thrift store, because it's not an entire stock, right? It's not like you have 5 of the same pants to choose from in various sizes. It's just kind of, you get what you get. I don't know if you've noticed in my thrifting videos, but the amount of what I've been thrifting has decreased. Number one, because I'm trying to be mindful of my consumption, but also because I have had such a lack of availability in sizing in the thrifting world. I kind of just stick to like the men's t-shirt section, jackets, hoodies, things that are kind of a more universal size that I am hopefully able to find my size in. The men's section is my best friend. I've talked about that many times. So then I take that frustration and I'm like, you know what? I just want to shop at a store or with a brand that I know is going to carry my size. I've done Boohoo videos on my channel before, Express, Pretty Little Thing, Nasty Gal, brands that have extended their sizing recently or just carry plus size clothing. And it's something that I have been dragged for in the thrifting community. And let's be honest, fast fashion is the absolute worst, right? Like, no one wants to shop fast fashion. No one is like a fan of like the lack of ethicality of that industry and just how horrific it is. Like, no one enjoys that. But it kind of brings you to the theme of what this video is about. It's my inner conflict of wanting to shop sustainably and choose ethical brands and be able to feel good about the choices that I'm making fashion-wise, but also wanting clothes that fit me and that are accessible and affordable. That's the biggest part of it. And it's this game of tug of war that I'm kind of always constantly playing in my head, right? Like, you have this side, which is the sustainability, this side, which is the size inclusivity, and we're kind of tugging back and forth at all times. And then you add another layer on top, which is this affordable? Like, not only does it have to be ethical, but it has to fit my size, and then I have to be able to afford it, which kind of segues me into my next topic, which is sustainable, ethical brands that have kind of been making a breakthrough on the fashion scene lately. Brands like Everlane, Reformation, Girlfriend, and those brands are not cheap. The average person who is shopping for clothing is not going to be able to afford $295 just because it's a sustainable dress in their size. It's just so difficult when there are dresses from, say, Reformation that have price points of anywhere from like $100 to $300 for a clothing item for one single item, and then you could go to Forever 21 Plus or shop on Boohoo or shop on Pretty Little Thing and get so many outfits for $300, and it's this constant conflict that goes on in my mind, I'm not gonna lie. Which, by the way, as a side note, these sustainable brands that do have storefronts in Los Angeles, I have contacted, and they don't carry their extended sizing in store. They only carry standard sizing, so that's like a whole other problem that I'm gonna be making a separate video on, which we will talk about soon. So then you break all of that down and you're like, okay, you're left with the most easy, affordable, accessible option, which is thrifting. Most states in the US have a Goodwill somewhere nearby or a Save Savers or a Value Village or a local thrift shop or wherever it is. So then it's like, okay, here we go again, and I'm right back in the thrifting game, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. And then I'm kind of met with these inner conflicts, which one of is something that my friend Tiffany Ferg here on YouTube did brilliantly. She made a video probably almost about a year ago called The Rise of Thrifting, and in that video, which of course will be linked down below, I could not recommend her content enough. She is the coolest chick ever, and I'm just so honored to be her friend. But she talked about the gentrification of thrifting, which is another thing that's kind of been weighing on my mind a lot, and that is basically YouTubers, teens, resellers, etc, 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 will go into these thrift stores and purchase all of these clothes and either wear them themselves or resell them for a profit, and that therefore takes clothes away from who these thrift stores are targeted towards, which is low-income families and people who can't afford not shopping secondhand, which is a very real thing. It's just something that hasn't sat well with me, and it's something that I'm going to continue to try and figure out. There are incredible resources, like I said, Poshmark, Depop, ThredUp. There are also vintage shops, which are a very popular thing in Los Angeles. You can go to a vintage shop and find t-shirts just like these, which I have absolutely fallen for in the past, that can be upwards of like $50, $60, $70. Sometimes I've even seen people DM me and be like, hey, follow my Etsy shop, and they sell thrifted t-shirts for like $300. What? So vintage shopping is a lot pricier and a lot less size inclusive, and one of the reasons that I wanted to really buckle down and finally make this video was because of Megan Crab, or Body Posy Panda on Instagram, and her experience going to a vintage shop yesterday. So I actually screenshotted her entire story. I hope she doesn't mind. I will leave her Instagram link down below. And so she posted on her Instagram stories that she went vintage shopping with a friend. She showed a few silly try-ons, much like I do on my channel, where it's like, oh well, it didn't fit me, and you move on with your life, which is true. However, she made this little kind of disclaimer at the end, and I thought it was really important, and I wanted to read it for you word for word because it just hit the nail on the freaking head. And she said, real talk, I wear a size 16, and for every 100 items we saw today, I could probably fit into 5. Now keep in mind, a size 16 in the UK is a size 12 in the US, so just keep that in mind. Jolie, her friend, wears a size 18 to 20, and for every 100 items we saw today, she could probably fit into 1. Now an 18 to 20 in the UK is a 14 to 16 in the US, which is my size. I can 100% vouch for this because I went to some of the vintage stores that they went to in this try on, and I saw firsthand how unavailable a lot of these sizes were for me. And she said, for anyone above a size 20 trying to vintage shop, it's probably more like a 1 in 500 chance of finding something that fits. When we talk about shopping vintage as a way of being more sustainable with our fashion choices, we need to recognize how much of a privilege having that option is. And not only in terms of size, most of what we saw today was considerably more expensive than fast fashion options are, and nearly none of the spaces are wheelchair accessible. The conversations we're seeing more around ethical fashion, sustainability, and climate change are really important, and I think most of us could be doing a little bit more, but we also need to talk about how inaccessible these conversations still are, how options are far from equal, how plus size people are only just being treated as valuable consumers and being catered for by some clothing retailers, and for plus size people who love fashion, taking that away almost feels unfair. God, I love this woman. Plus size people have been denied the simple pleasure of feeling good in their clothes for decades, and now they finally have some options that smaller bodies have had for years and years to enjoy. And suddenly we're having conversations around sustainability and not buying new clothes that holds no space for that. And this is exactly how I feel right here. I don't know exactly the right answer, and obviously it's the planet we're talking about, which ultimately matters a whole lot more than how our clothes look, but I just wanted to recognize that this stuff isn't as simple as stop buying new clothes, shop vintage, or in our case, thrifting instead. Thrifting isn't really a thing in the UK, so I get what she's saying. I hope we have more body options for everybody soon. This is crazy to me too, because that's exactly where I arrived when I started typing out the notes for this video. Was at the end of my notes there was a couple question marks, and it was like resolution? Question mark? And that's exactly how she said, like, there's no exact right answer. Hopefully by more of us donating our clothing and giving another person with our size body a chance to make new memories in those clothes and feel confident and feel awesome, it will only continue to spread, as well as finding resources like Poshmark shops that are people that are similar size to you. If you have friends that are a similar size to you, you know, getting together and like cleaning out your closet, having them clean out their closets, putting it all in a pile, and like shopping each other's closets. You know, there are ways to hopefully make a bit of a difference. I had posted a poll of asking people, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you will have seen it, where I brought up 2 different topics that I wanted to talk about in videos. Even just in the like few hours that this Instagram story has been up, I've gotten so many responses that I can't read them all, but I wanted to screenshot and show a few of them that I felt like really encapsulated how I feel and hopefully how we all feel, so that we can feel a lot less alone. The first one says, I love thrifting, but it's so hard thrifting with my straight size friends because they find so many cute fun things and I have to always stick to the men's t-shirts. Me. I love all of your thrifting videos, but I can't relate at all because I'm too big to fit into them, or places like ThredUp and Poshmark, all of the plus sizes are outdated and grandma style. As a size 16, 18, I've always had this problem that I can never find anything that I like at the thrift stores that fit me. I want to thrift to save money and quit fast fashion, but it's so hard when you can't find secondhand items and you can't afford ethical, sustainable brands that charge upwards of $100 or more for one item. Someone else brought up a really valid point as well and said, also related to the topic is people who are in smaller bodies who thrift bigger clothes and only make them smaller and thrift flip them, therefore taking away bigger sizes for the people who truly need them. That's not really something that I had thought about, but it is something that I do see a lot in the thrifting community on YouTube. No one in particular, it's just something that happens. I've probably done it before. I remember one time I bought a 3XL and cut it and made it smaller. So it's definitely something that I need to be more mindful of. It's been so hard for me to thrift at all, and honestly I find the experience really anxiety inducing. I love watching thrift videos, but I just feel like I have to accept that it's something I'll never be able to participate in. Would love to hear more about plus size thrifting. So frustrating wanting to be more eco-friendly but not really having much of a choice. There's no way I could find new jeans that fit without buying new. After having a baby and going from a size 12, 14 to now 16, 18, it's been a struggle. To find affordable, sustainable, plus size clothes is basically impossible, and I have to shop almost exclusively online now because of my size. It's frustrating. I can really relate to all of these topics, and it's just something that we're gonna need to continue to talk about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's getting way too long. Y'all, I need to go. I could talk about this for another 30 minutes. I've already been filming for 30. I'm gonna hopefully cut this down to be a digestible video for you. If you're struggling with things like this, you are not alone. I go through it. All of these other people that you read comments from go through it. Someone whose Instagram handle is called Body Posy Panda, she goes through it. So just please remember that when you're feeling down and feeling low, the clothes are what the problem is. It is not your body. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.